Deep in the woods lived a little fox whose fur was the color of dying embers, which is why the other foxes called her Ember. Now, Ember was a shy fox. In fact, she was the shyest fox anyone had ever known. She spent most of her days hiding in her den, or playing by herself in the forest. She never went out with the other foxes because she was too scared. She didn't like the sound of her own voice, and so all she did was stay at home, feeling sorry for herself and dreaming of adventures she would never have. One day, though, while Ember was wandering through the woods, she heard some commotion up ahead. As she slowly approached, she saw the most beautiful butterfly she had ever seen. Its wings were like stained glass, catching the sunlight and scattering it in 1,000 different directions. Ember wanted to get closer, but as she took a step forward, a twig snapped under her paw and the butterfly flew away. Sadness filled her heart, for she had been too scared to take a chance and make a friend. Then, as she looked around, she noticed something strange. All the trees surrounding her seemed to be glowing, and when she touched one, she felt the warmth spread through her entire body. Excited, she ran from tree to tree, feeling the warmth grow stronger with each step, until suddenly she came to a clearing. And there in front of her stood the tallest, brightest tree she had ever seen. It shone with a golden light, making her feel happy and strong and brave. And as she looked up, she saw a little door at the top, just her size. Before she knew what was happening, she was climbing the tree, her paws moving faster than she could think. When she reached the door, she took a deep breath and knocked. A moment passed, and the door slowly opened. On the other side stood a magnificent white fox with fur as soft as snow. "Hello," she said in a kind voice. "I am the spirit of this forest, and when I saw you running here, I knew you were special." Confused, Ember asked, "What do you mean? I'm just a shy fox who lives in the woods." The spirit shook her head. "No, little one, you are much more than that. You have an inner flame inside of you that is just waiting to be ignited." With that, the spirit took Ember deeper into the tree. They walked through halls of gold until they came to a room with a huge mirror on the wall. "Look inside, little one," said the spirit. And as Ember gazed into the depths, she saw a vision of herself, not as a timid and scared young fox, but as a bold and courageous leader, standing tall and proud. When she looked back at the spirit, she saw understanding in its eyes. "You showed me the possibilities," she whispered. And as the spirit waved her magic wand, Ember found herself back in the forest, but she was no longer afraid. In fact, she was excited. With newfound confidence, she shook off the old doubts and fears, for she knew that she had an inner fire that could never be taken away. And as she ran through the woods, the sun shone brighter, the birds sang sweeter, and the flowers bloomed with more color, for Ember had brought the light and warmth of her inner flame to the world around her. Once upon a time, deep in the woods, there lived a little fox whose fur was the color of dying embers. And that's the end of part 1. Now before we continue, if you want to help us reach our goal of 1 million subscribers, click the subscribe button now and make sure to watch part 2. Now back to the story. Now the reason this story is special to me is because when I was a kid, I was very shy and insecure. I didn't like to speak my mind, and I always felt like I wasn't good enough. But after hearing this story over and over again, I realized that I have an inner fire inside of me that can never be taken away. All I have to do is believe in myself and have the courage to be who I want to be. And that's exactly what Ember does in this story. She goes from being a scared and insecure little fox to a confident and brave leader. She learns that she doesn't have to be afraid of what others think of her, and that she can make her own choices and follow her dreams. This is a story about believing in yourself and having the courage to be who you want to be. It's about finding your inner fire and letting it shine. Remember, you are amazing just the way you are, and you can do anything you set your mind to. Don't be afraid to take risks, to try new things, and to follow your dreams. Believe in yourself and have the courage to be who you want to be, because you have an inner fire inside of you that can never be taken away. So go out there and let your light shine. The world is yours to explore, and anything is possible. Just remember the story of Ember, the Ember Fox, and never, ever give up on yourself.